Alrighty, hello. We are here with another Dokkan battle tier list. What we are going to be doing today is looking at the DokkanFest EZA TURs. I know people like to discuss these a lot, so that is what we are going to be doing in today's video. Now, here I have 10 of the best EZA TURs right now in the game, and rather than going 1 to 10, just because right now I feel like the game is very LR centric, we're just going to be putting them in the Z tier, the S tier, and the A tier. So with all that being said, if you do find yourself enjoying today's video, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe. And with all that being said, let's go ahead and hop in. So we're just going in order. This is not ordered 1 to 10, but we're just going to go in order from, you can see here where Kefla's at. We're going to go all the way over to Trunks, and we'll just kind of go from there. So Kefla, this one for me feels pretty easy. We are going to put her in Z tier. She got her dodge condition fixed a decent bit, and she's also way less orb reliant than she used to be, right? Like when you look at what this Kefla is bringing to the table compared to what she used to, it's like the 6 orbs were a big problem, and now, especially considering the plethora of Universe 6 buffs that we got during the what celebration is it over on global? It's the int androids one, and then that kind of transitioned to a bunch of EZAs for everything else, right? Like with the global first stuff, we got Kefla's EZA. That was actually with the Goku Black celebration, if I'm not mistaken. It was kind of a super bosses buff, right? So Kefla was given with that, and then we also have the kind of other EZAs that came with her, being like the STR Kale, the Tech Caulifla, all those other different Universe 6 units. And then on the JP side of things, we have STR Kaba, STR Hit, who both work very well with this Kefla, being an orb changer and making her conditions much easier. So Kefla, I have it in easy Z tier. She's going to look pretty good, especially when she comes over to JP, and I have a bit more time to use the unit because I don't really play much global, so haven't really had too much time to look at her aside from showcases and whatnot. So Kefla, easy Z tier. Now Kaioken Blue Goku, this one's tough. I think, where do I like him? I like Kaioken Blue Goku in the, we'll put him in the Z tier. 9th Annie content makes everything very difficult, right? Like it makes it very tough, but if you look at the units that are around Kaioken Blue Goku right now, we can kind of just pull this up as we go, because this one's a little easier to look at right off the bat. If we go, you know, let's pull up the categories, if you will. We'll go Universal Survival Saga here, and we'll pull it up, right? So you can see everybody here. Let's zoom out just a little bit for you guys. The Universe 7 team, especially right now, you have like the int androids who just came out, who are a decent leader, and then you have 1, 2, 3, 4 LR EZAs that are extremely good, and that this team is like already kind of working in that good spot, right? And then when you throw Kaioken Blue Goku on it, that is a full team surrounded by, you know, 4 of the 10 best units in the game right here with these 4 EZAs, yeah, and then maybe potentially like Jiren with EZA, but I don't really think Jiren would be like the guy that you're looking for this Kaioken Blue Goku. So if you're just looking at terms of team synergy and where you're going to be able to run them alongside other units, I think this Kaioken Blue Goku is in the Z tier easily. But when you kind of put this in the lens of like the 9th anniversary content, then that is kind of going to be like, yeah, they get folded, but at least Kaioken Blue Goku does have guard with like Universe 7 allies around and stuff like that, so it does help, but it's not exactly, yeah, perfect. So AGL Zamasu, I think like at the beginning of some of these phases, he does not fare the best right now. I do like this AGL Zamasu, and I think he brings a decent bit to the table, but I think it's like Super Bosses especially, I feel like is the team you'd want to run him on, especially right now, the way the game is going with the Super Bosses team. But the issue with that team, I'm sure most of you know, is that it just does not have that kind of foundation, right? If you've been keeping up with Dokkan YouTube, at least ever since the 9th anniversary started, right? If we pull up Super Bosses here, you'll know that this team is extremely polarizing, and it didn't get the best look going out of the 9th anniversary, just because of the way the difficult content kind of shaped itself. But you can see here, it's like, obviously you have Broly, you can run them alongside, and then this Tech Fusion Zamasu, and then Physical Goku Black whenever he decides to show up over here on JP. That'll be helpful for this Zamasu. But just like right now, especially in like the beginning phases of fights, like the Gogeta fight and stuff like that being Tech, the beginning phases of like when you're fighting God Goku and God Vegeta, he is taking a decent bit of damage in those beginning phases, so it is tough, but this AGL Zamasu is okay at the very least. I'd say he's at least a respectable option, right? And I'm going to say the same thing about Piccolo, where I really like Piccolo's utility, but I think just on the scale of things, I don't love how he is a little bit of a slow builder, right? You have to kind of go slow, and especially with 9th anniversary content, that just does not work to the degree that it used to. And now you have to kind of work your way around it, right? But with that being said, if we go back here and we go to where's a category that he shares with Orange Piccolo, right? It would be Battle of Wits, right? So if we go to Battle of Wits up here and we look at this team, running him on this team is obviously going to be good for you. But if we go to Physical Piccolo, where art thou? There you are. We look at this guy right here, and it's like the value is right here, right? This is what I'm trying to get at. Oh, sorry, you can't see that. It's the 4Cs the enemy super attack, right? That's where the value comes from, and I think all in all, that's where you're really going to be able to get your bang for your buck out of this guy. But the problem is, like I said, you have to stack the defense, and when you have to stack the defense, like the beginning phase of these fights, they just hit too hard, right? And it's really unfortunate because it's like the same case for like all of these EZAs, right? It's like you look at this EZA tier list and it's like, do you really see any unit that you're going to be bringing into like the Gogeta Supreme Battle Spectacle, the Beast Supreme Battle Spectacle? Are you bringing these guys into what's the other difficult fight? I can't think of it off the top of my head. It's the Memorial Battle and stuff like that, right? The Trunks fight where Trunks is locking you in the Supreme Battle Spectacle fight in the second phase. And it's like, this Piccolo gets locked slot 1 in the Trunks fight, GG. Like, there's nothing you can do, right? And that's the same thing for, like, most of these units, right? It's like, the only ones that really can do anything about that are, like, Gogeta Blue because of the dodge chance that he has. So I guess we'll just put Gogeta Blue up there just because he has a chance to live. But it's still not great, right? Like, just compared to the rest of the EZAs, like it's the dodge chance, it's the defensive utility. You got to have it, and these guys do have it, and that's why I do like them. But Gogeta Blue, again, you could run him on superheroes. He fits on the Beast Gohan leader skill, which is very important. Considering you can put him on that team, and the team can kind of lift him up and carry him. That is good, but I feel like most of these units you are kind of running at the expense of running them in the first place, right? Like, they're going to kind of bring the team down just a little bit. And I don't know if I love that, but at least with Gogeta, it's like his offensive output is decent, and if you do get locked in like the Trunks fight, at least you do have a chance to dodge it, right? So let's zoom out just a little bit here, so this isn't like so zoomed in, but we'll go to the events, right? Like let's look at this. The Trunks event is like the one that I specifically want to talk about, just in this case because this is where they have a lock. And this is like a lot of people. I don't think many people view this as the hardest fight in the game anymore, but I know there was a bit of a brief patch where everyone was calling this the hardest fight in the game, right? The one against Trunks. If we go right here and we pull this up, I just need to make sure there's no dodge disabling right here. Yeah, so it's like you go into that second phase. It's like, let's look who we've talked about so far, right? I think maybe I would move Zamasu up just because of type advantage in that, but I'm going to keep him there for now. But Piccolo, right? It's like, what are you supposed to do? Like, if we go over here to, where's the fight, right? It's right here. Like, what are you supposed to do if Piccolo gets locked in slot 1? It's like, oh, cool, we can see the super attack's not there, but he's still taking an ungodly amount from normals, so it's tough. I think you could get away with him with just the presence of Orange Piccolo and stuff like that alone, but again, it is tough. But with that being said, let's go ahead and move on to MVP 17. I'm going to put him in S as well. I really like his defensive utility, but I don't think the offensive output is necessarily there. But what really kind of brings him down from being Z is the fact that the damage reduction is HP restricted, right? Turn 1, you're really going to be in a dangerous spot with this 17, especially if he takes like a super in slot 3, it might as well just be GG. But he does have the utility of the attack lowering, the defensive lowering, he does have the key support, the defensive support out the wazoo. It is very impressive. So I do like that spot for him, and I think S tier is a good spot for 17. Now, I don't know where I want to put Bardock. I think just kind of when I was thinking about making this list beforehand, I like S, I think, for Bardock, and we'd probably put him at, like, this isn't really a specific order, but I put him at the front of that. I do think this Bardock is a little bit underrated, but I also don't think he's, like, the best EZA in the world. We are a little bit caught up. I think when people were reading the description of this guy, they were a little bit caught up with the damage reduction per low-class warrior ally, but I don't really think that's going to be the biggest issue in the world. It's the base form that's sketchy, but the Super Saiyan form is very good. And honestly, yeah, I don't know. I'm gonna move Gogeta down. Now, I know that has nothing to do with it, but now that I think about it, that's just where I want them, right? I think that makes more sense. Yeah, like we can look at Bardock and we can talk about it. But if we go, where are we at? We want to go cards, categories. Where art thou, Bardock? We will go right here. We'll go. I don't know why I went Super Saiyans instinctively, but we'll find him. Where are you at? Boom. Okay, so we look at this EZA, right? Oh, of course this isn't translated. Damn it. Okay, that's a bit of an issue. Give me 1 second. All right, I had to outsource a little bit, but we got it now. So if we're looking at this guy in the base form, I do think that there is some potential here, but I don't like the category restrictions, right? I think he can look very impressive. And again, in the second, when he transforms, this is really like, where is it? If we could go, there we go. I think the Super Saiyan version is really like what we could talk about, right? So we look at it here when we can transform. We have greatly raised attack and defense for 1 turn on the super, immense damage to the enemy, and then greatly lowers defense. Lowering defense is whatever. Attacks effective against all types, cool. Damage reduction by 18%. That's a nice little baseline, but it's nothing too crazy. Additional attack, there's a great chance to become a super. Then additional attack plus 100 when attacking, medium chance of performing a critical hit, medium chance of dodging. So you have damage reduction, you have dodging, you have super effective against all types, you have greatly raised attack and defense on super. The big problem, well, not even the big problem, it's just when he's a Super Saiyan, he's way less restricted, right? You're not restricted to the low class warriors. You're not restricted to just the wicked, the wicked bloodline category enemy and stuff like that. It is a little bit annoying, but I think S is kind of the good spot because I just don't love his base form. But all in all, he is pretty good. So to round this out, Beerus, I think again, a lot of these are just S tier. Let me just kind of finish up my placing here. I like Future Gohan, and I also like this Trunks, but it's just, I think that's like a good placement for them. I like Beerus. I think his attack prowess is good, but Beerus is kind of a little bit lost in terms of like where are you going to be running him. So honestly, I think just because Beerus is a little bit in limbo, I'm going to put him down in A. But Future Gohan, you just run on the Beast Gohan team. Obviously, he's not like a top option, but we're just ranking these guys against each other. So that is kind of how it's going to work if you look at things in context. But there we go. Trunks, I think, also can look a little bit impressive, but that base form and stacking, it's not enough now. The power creep has not been his best friend, especially going into this 9th Andy. But the 9th Andy hasn't really favored like any of these EZAs when you look at the kind of scale of things, right? It's like you see like Kefla and you see like a little bit of Bardock and you're like, oh yeah, those are like post 9th Andy EZAs. But other than that, it's like, yeah, it's like the difficult events that came with the 9th anniversary really did make things tough. So this list was hard to make, so don't give me too much flack down below. Let me know what you think of the list. Don't forget to leave a like if you did enjoy today's video, and subscribe if you are new so you don't miss out on any of my Dokkan content. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you all in the next one.